Hi, this is Karen Strunks live on RadioWorks.World with Marina Nani. I am going to be talking about laptop life and creating a life of freedom and what it means to be free in today's society and how to create a life that you love, doing what you love and having as much freedom as you want in your life, where you are not answerable to anybody, where you call the shots in every single area of your life. Over to you, Marina.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Radio Works World with the amazing, absolutely incredible Karen, our freedom host. Over to you, Karen.
Hi, thank you, Marina. Well, I am actually here in London at the moment. I'm here for 2 weeks, and for the last 2 months, I have been living a laptop lifestyle, location independent, traveling around the UK, staying at some amazing places that I haven't seen before, even though I'm from the UK. There's a lot of places I haven't seen. And I'm just visiting different places, staying here, hanging out, getting to know new venues, new areas, new people, and creating a life of adventure for myself. Now, it hasn't always been this way. I used to work the 9 to 5, have a boss, clock in, clock out, do the kind of 9 to 5 rat race routine until about 10 years ago, when I actually told my last boss to go to hell. And I walked out and started following my passions, doing what I love. And that's been the case for a decade now. So even though it has been a decade of living a life on my terms, doing what I want, following my passions, making a career and money out of the things I love, even today, right now, this very second, I appreciate so much the freedom that I've created in my life. And I just want to shout it from the rooftops and tell people, look, if I can do it, if I can escape the rat race and do what I love, you can do it too. And I have no more skills, talents, qualifications to do it than anybody else. Over to you, Marina.
Well, Karen, let me tell you this. You qualified and overqualified throughout the decade of freedom. You reinvented your life. So took you a while to find the shortcuts, to discover what works, what doesn't work. And, my hat off. I so admire your spirit and so admire your vision, because from being stuck into a postcode like we have in England, or a zip code like we have in America, or any other address, or in South Africa there are no actually addresses, it's just a place. So it's always that challenge to uproot yourself into a better place, to reinvent yourself, to reinvent your life on your own terms. And for our listeners, and I have lots of questions, but you already answered two of them by sharing from the heart. So it's what it takes to trade your home address, your postal address, into for an email address. What is that it takes?
Well, I've created a business
Gmail address. Let's call it Gmail address.
email address. Yeah, so I have, I run my business online. So in effect, it doesn't matter where I am set up. You know, I could be here, I could be 100 miles away, it could be 1,000. It doesn't matter. So you can set up with it. We've got the internet. We can be anywhere at any time, and we can talk to and communicate and help people. So the clients I work with, they're all over the world. We don't need to meet up in person. We just need, obviously, our time schedules to collide, to match up with the time zones. But we don't need to be in a certain location if we don't want it to be. So I don't particularly want a business where I have to show up in person at a certain location. And that's why I've created like a location independent life and a life of freedom. And also, it's kind of like having a laptop life and being on the road. I think this is my second month now, and I think maybe this is my 5th place I've been to. I'm kind of losing track. And this isn't the first time I've kind of uprooted and gone on my travels. I've done so before, about 18 months ago, with 2 months around Europe, and then time before that around America for 2 months. So this isn't unusual for me, but it can be. It's good because you have so much freedom, but also there is maybe the con to it is you have so much freedom, so you've got to decide where to go next. I remember, when I was in Europe about 18 months ago, I had the world at my feet, yet I couldn't decide where I wanted to go. And it's like so many choices. So if that's a bad thing to have, but also not knowing people wherever you go. Now, it is easier to make friends online in any location. You can kind of do some preparation before you go and see what events are going on, or maybe some, say, for instance, on Twitter, I've got friends all over the place. So say, is anybody in the area? Do you want to meet up? But it can be quite, I think you have to like your own company if you're going to go it alone and do it solo. And, I tend to live on my own. Well, I do live on my own, and, I'll go out on my own nearly every day if I'm not meeting up with somebody. So you have to be a bit independent, I guess, and like your own company as well, especially if you're going to go it solo. Over to you, Marina.
Oh, Karen, I so love you and your mission and how you drop that old mindset when you're brought up to believe that unless you chase opportunities, unless you chase those goals, earthy goals, you'll never make it, and you have to label yourself as a employee to be respected in society, and you drop all of that and you turn yourself into the opportunity. And so many people are inspired by you, by your spirit, by your amazing heart, because you speak from the heart. You don't really think of what other people think of you, because that's not your job, that's not your business. Your business is to deliver your mission, to create and deliver value for your clients and attract only the people who could really benefit from your knowledge, from your experience, from what you teach. And I know that loads happening, and it's like a Niagara of events and happenings in your life now, and Niagara Fall. I mean, so it's the more you give, the more you have, and it's so abundant. You live such an abundant life, full of joy, of happiness, and there is no dark place. It's all out, it's all light, and day and night people could connect with you because they will find you online. It's a place where there is room for everyone, and having a Gmail address is being present. And what keeps some people off track in their own journey is being afraid to make the trade. So they are thinking, oh my God, what are my friends going to say if I go online and I talk live and I talk to total strangers? But guess what? When you connect with total strangers, you connect with yourself. So must take a lot of love for you to share of yourself, because this is what you are giving. You are giving yourself to the world. You are sharing your spirit, your energy, your vibrations. You inspire so many people. And if it's something the world is short of, is inspiration. So tell me, what's happening now? What's next? What's happening this weekend? What are you creating? You are always creating and delivering value to create better life choices. And I'm so excited. Tell me what's next.
Oh my goodness, I'm always in creating mode, and I was just speaking to someone this morning about it, taking inspired action. So if you're going to go to all the trouble of, saying goodbye to your boss and not even necessarily traveling, but just doing your own thing and creating a life you love out of your passions, you should allow yourself that freedom to create and get inspired. So when inspiration hits, who knows what idea you're going to have next? Who knows what's going to come out? But allowing yourself just to release it into the world, almost like without a care. Don't be precious about your ideas. Don't be precious about, keeping it to yourself or waiting for the right time. Because I find that when you have those bright ideas that just suddenly pop out into your mind out of the blue, they're to be harnessed. That energy is to be harnessed and to be put out there. And if you try and sort of take them and schedule them into your diary for next week or next month or whenever you think the time is going to be ready, they kind of just shrink and die. So I'm all for taking inspired action. So while I'm here in London, I am offering one-to-one days. So that's my thing now that I'm here in the big city. after London, I'm going to be in the countryside again for a few weeks actually. So I'm making the most of being in the big city. What else am I creating? I'm actually writing a guide at the moment. It isn't available because I'm in the middle of writing it, and it's called, I think it's a really cool title, The Stop Giving a Shit Guide to Women Who Want to Rule, or for women who want to rule. Which
wow.
like,
That's
really
amazing.
I
already love it.
So that's going to be coming out, and that's going to be free on my website and on Twitter or wherever I post it. So yeah, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's also like the serious message behind there. Look, if you want to step up and rule in your life, then here's my take on what it takes and how to do it, and how to stop, as you were saying like a few minutes ago, about worrying about what your friends will say if you start putting stuff out there. You know, stop giving a shit about stuff that's going to hold you back in creating the life that you want, and a life where you rule and call the shots. And by ruling and calling the shots, it doesn't mean you're taking away from anybody else or hurting anybody else. It's just asserting your right to have the life that you want. And life, you know, life is short, to use that overused phrase. But when you are aware of the passage of time, and to be and aware of measuring your life in experiences, because you know we're not guaranteed anything, we're not guaranteed the next second even, then life takes on a different view, and there's a certain urgency created when you take that view of life, as in you know, what experiences are we going to have? What are we going to inject in our lives? Do we want to look back on a life where we've maybe taken a chance on us, believed in what it is that we want to do, and taken a few risks? Or do we want to look back and think, well, I was a good employee for 50 years and I turned up at work on time, and that.
You know, Karen, I was thinking that actually what you do, and it's so powerful, because more and more people decided to bring up their inner greatness and plant the seeds of their own inner greatness in other people's life. But you see, planting the seeds, just imagine yourself on a field and you put the seeds inside, and then you have to water it to grow. So you have to get your hands dirty. It doesn't happen just because you are thinking of. No. You have to get your hands dirty, do the work, and grow yourself into the person you could become, into the person that you need to be to deliver your own greatness and bear fruits for others. It's all about serving other people you never met before. And who knows who are they, but they are there. They are waiting for you to bear fruits so they could enrich their soul. And I was thinking that people with jobs, I don't necessarily think it's wrong to have a job or not to have a job. I'm not, here to judge absolutely no one. So people who are in a great job and are happy, I salute them. It just more and more people are find it difficult to find fulfillment within a 9 to 5 when working for somebody else, when trading time for dollars, when they are delivering somebody else's dream in a way, because each one of us got the dream and it's inside, and no one is going to know until you bring it out. But to bring it out is hard work. To start with, to admit that you have a great idea, it's scary. To accept that you got greatness, it's absolutely horrifying. For some people, they will do anything but that, to say, yes, I am who I am, So they will rather be hiding behind somebody else's dream or somebody else's label, or just to deliver what is expected of them, and they're missing out in delivering the greatest creation of their life, which is themselves. And takes courage. I know it takes courage, and I know you live. I live in a suitcase myself since I retired, and I reinvented my life. I traveled the world. I don't know where I'm going next. I just go.
Yeah.
I go where people need me, and I'm here to broadcast your passion, because it's not only that it's so important for our listeners to understand that there are options for them. They are not running out of options. It's not as if they're in a corner and somebody is closing down or something is life is closing down on them because it's crashing down on them. It's purely about making a choice. It's purely about being aware that what is available for you and me is available for every single one of us.
Mhm.
Over to you, Karen.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant points, Marina. And exactly, sometimes if you aren't in a great place in your life, it can feel that there are a lack of options, but that, as you say, that is not the case. We always have unlimited options every single day about how our day is going to go, how our life is going to go, about the steps that we take in the direction that we want to be or towards our goals. And you know, when I did work the 9 to 5, and you again you made a good point there about people having jobs. I can't help everybody escape from the 9 to 5 if they're not ready. But of course, there are some people that love their jobs, and that is brilliant. If you've got a job you love, that is great. But if obviously you're doing work that sucks the soul out of you, as I had, that was my experience, and that in turn made me very depressed, and it felt like the walls were closing in, and it took me to get to a very low level with depression before I hit rock bottom, before I could raise up. And I don't want people to wait till they hit their own rock bottom when they
I have to, sorry, I have to say this because it just crossed my mind. You know, it's a statue in Bangkok. Is the golden Buddha statue, and it's been in the same place for hundreds of years. And at some point, I think it was in May 1954, they had to move the statue. It was a giant statue. It was a clay statue. So when they moved the statue, the ropes couldn't sustain the weight, and the statue dropped on rich hard bottom, as you said, and that created cracks. But what those cracks brought into light was what was inside the statue. It was another gold statue.
No way.
And to me, that's so relevant to each one of us, because unless something happens to you that shakes you up, unless, like you said, you reach rock bottom, you'll never know what is inside of you. The gold you have inside, the gold version of yourself, will never hit the light.
That's a wonderful story, Marina. That's so true. Yeah. And with my hitting rock bottom, that's what it took for me to make the big changes. And I made changes overnight, stuff that I have been putting off it for years. I did it all at once. And it's amazing what you can do when you've made up your mind and you've made the life that you want a must. Whatever it looks like, it's possible.
I think you said something which is a core belief for me. Don't be in two minds. What is the point? When you make your mind about something, just go all in, like you do, and great people like yourself who are embracing the challenge instead of being afraid of the challenge or the change. You are turning any challenge coming your way into a great opportunity, and this is what makes you you. This is what makes you a fighter for freedom. This is what makes you the guiding light for people who want to trade their postal address for Gmail address. Over to you, a key message before we end our episode today and before we decide what we are going to talk about next week.
Brilliant. Thank you, Marina. Yeah, well, let me just end and kind of sum up that whatever the life and the lifestyle that you want, it is within your reach. You need to reach out and take hold of it, whatever that looks like, whatever that first step is like. It's about keeping that vision in mind when times get tough and having the self-belief that you can have the life that you want. Whatever you want to create, whatever you have right now, you've created, right? So if you want something different, something better, something that you're going to love every single day, you can equally create that too. Over to you, Marina.
Wow. Wow, planting the seeds of greatness. Getting your hands dirty. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Absolutely yes. With lots of love, and remember, embrace your freedom. From both of us, until next time, is goodbye.
Goodbye.